All right, so how do we distribute with fractions? So we want to simplify the following expressions by distributing and combining like terms. So we've done this before when we simplified expressions, but we have fractions in our grouped factors. So this is one term. We have a group factor here. So we're going to take our 10 and have to distribute to each of the terms. So what's going to do, that's going to expand our terms. So we're going to have a 10 times the first term, which is 1/5, and then we're going to have the 10 times the second term, which is 7/10. So as we do this, we can take advantage of the fractions by canceling. So 10 times 1/5, this is like 10 over 1. We can cancel the 5 and the 10, leaving a factor of 2. So this term will change to just 2. And then the next expression, the 10s, or the next term, the 10s will cancel, leaving just 7. So the term value here is plus 7. So again, we're getting two terms. Our term values are 2 and 7. We can combine those like terms to get our value of 9. So it was a lot easier to do the multiplication first than it was to add the fractions together. So again, we'll realize that here. On the next problem, again, it's one term with a grouped factor. So I need to take 12 and distribute to each of the terms. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with two separate terms. So the first one is a 12 times 2x over 3. And then the next one will be 12 times a negative 7 over 4. So as I do each one of these, again, I'm going to take advantage of the fractions. I'm going to multiply and cancel. So the 3 will cancel with the 12, leaving a factor of 4. So the factors that are left are 4 and 2x. So this term actually becomes 8x. I'm going to do the same thing on the right. The 4 will cancel with the 12, leaving a factor of 3. And now I can take 3 times negative 7 to get negative 21. So since I cannot combine these terms, then I just need to leave the expression as 8x minus 21. So I want to think about that. The problems get a little harder. There's going to be a lot more writing, but I think we can understand what's happening when we distribute. We really don't need to show the second step here. It does help, but really all I care about is what's canceled and the factors that are left. So let's think about that as we do these next problems. Again, we have, for C, we have one big grouped factor. So the 9 has to be multiplied to each of the terms. Right? So, and as I do that, I'm going to get separate terms. So what we can do then is basically keep track. So I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit more. But watch when I do this. So the 9 times 2x over 3. The 3 will cancel with the 9, and it's going to leave a factor of 3 in the numerator. So I'm just going to put the 3 up here to keep track of it and know that this term value then is 6x. So let's go to the next one. I know I'm going to take 9 times negative 2 over 9. Well, now the 9 in the numerator that gets multiplied will cancel with the 9 in the denominator. And what's left is just the negative 2. And then let's go to the next term. Again, the 9, when I bring it over and multiply, it's basically coming over. And when I multiply, the 9s will cancel. So what's left here is just a negative 5x. And finally, I do need to distribute the 9 all the way across to the last term, which is 1. Well, nothing cancels, but I still need to multiply. 9 times 1 is 9. So we kind of shortened up the expression, did our work as we distributed, And now we can combine like terms. Oh, sorry, I should make that a little bigger. 6x and negative 5x is x, so those are gone, those two like terms. Negative 2 and 9 is plus 7. So our expression simplifies. So let's try this one. D, it's a little bigger for sure, so I'm going to leave myself a little more room to work. Before I do this, I want to look at the composition. First of all, I notice that there's going to be 3 separate terms. So I need to work with each one of these terms first individually. So the first term, I have 16, and then it's multiplied by these 2 terms I need to distribute. All right, that's going to create 2 separate terms. So let's follow. 16 times 3/8. Well, the 8 in the denominator will cancel with the 16, and it's going to leave a factor of 2 in the numerator. So look at what's left. I have 3 times 2 times y. So the first term would be a 6y. So again, I'm walking you through it, but I am writing what I'm thinking. So the 16 times the 3/4. The 4 in the denominator will cancel. And if I cancel a 4 out of the 16, I'm going to be left with another factor of 4 in the numerator. So what's left is a plus 3 times 4, so this would be plus 12. The next term, and I hope I didn't get lost here, but you notice the next term starts with a negative sign. So if I distribute, what am I actually distributing? And it's negative 1 that I'm distributing. It's a factor of negative 1. So when I distribute, I'm going to create 2 more terms. Negative 1 times 4y is negative 4y. And negative 1 times negative 5 is a positive 5. So I'm using columns to keep track of where I'm at, but I'm just doing basically one calculation at a time. All right, let's follow the next one. I have a negative 18 and then times this grouped factor. The grouped factor has 2 terms. So I'm going to distribute the negative 18 to each of those terms. So negative 18 times negative 5 over 9. So the negatives will cancel. Negative times negative is positive. They're basically like negative 1s. So there's no more negative sign. And then 18 and 9, well, the 9 will cancel with an 18. This is like 18 over 1. So the 9 and 18 will cancel, leaving a factor of 2. So if you look at what's left in this first term, or this term, I get 5 times 2 times y. So that would be a positive 10y. And now the last term, negative 18 times 2 over 3. So the negative 18 and the 3 will cancel with the negative 18, and it leaves a factor of negative 6. So what I have is a 2 times negative 6, positive 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12. So each one of this is way easier to do by canceling, by doing the multiplications first. And again, we'll take advantage of this when we look at equations with fractions by clearing fractions. So let's finish this and combine like terms. If we combine like terms, 6y, negative 4y, and 10y, 16 minus 4 is 12, so this would give me a 12y term. 12, sorry about that. So the y terms will go together. 6y, negative 4, and 12y, 10y is 16 minus 4, 12y. We have a positive 12, a negative 12, and a 5. Well, 12 and negative 12 is 0, so we end up with just 5.